With the homesteading conference a few days away, I needed to prepare a few things before heading out on our road trip. I had prepared some sourdough bagels, some whole wheat pancakes with chocolate chips in them, my kids' favorite, and a few loaves of sourdough bread. I also dehydrated some apples as an easy snack. Another thing we need to do to get prepared for our trip to the homesteading conference is I need to get some sort of watering system set up. I have all the supplies to do the drip system for our berry patch, but not for the garden. Those things are still coming in the mail. I might just have the timer turn on some like overhead watering system for that. We're gonna try to figure out a system today. That's our goal for today. Food prep, watering system prep. I'm not the only one who's completely obsessed with our new wagon. Such good delivery service. Thank you. Okay. So we have our supplies, we have the spigot. I'm still gonna pick up the timer, so we're just gonna start the hose here, but we're not gonna attach it. We don't have all the attachment stuff yet. We're picking that up today, but we're gonna bring that all the way to these rows. And we're gonna probably make some mistakes, but we're just gonna see what we can get done. I was pretty nervous to start this project, and right from the get-go I had already made the mistake and had purchased the wrong type of tubing, and that got me a little bit discouraged as we were kind of rushed to get this done. Okay, it's been like 8 hours since I first started, and I realized I had the wrong tubing, and then after that I realized I needed an extra piece. So there's a whole configuration when you're connecting to a spigot, like I have here. So when you're going from hose to drip, you know, the PSI, the pressure will blow your tubes if you don't lower the pressure. And so you need one of those. But until you start doing it and start working your way through the process, you still find things that you miss. I'm also not gonna tell you my system until after like several weeks of trying it, or even a whole season, because then I feel like I'll have a really good understanding of like what I'm actually doing, because I don't want to steer you guys in the wrong direction. I want to make all the mistakes so that I can then tell you what not to do. So let me just do that for you, okay? Can I see your strawberry rack? Looks good. Hazel found out that people have painted rocks to look like strawberries, and the birds will come and try to peck them. And they'll peck it and realize that it's hard, and they don't like pecking hard things, so then they just leave it alone. So it tricks them, huh, Hazel? So she wants to do a test to see if that actually happens. After a full day of trying to set up this drip system for the berry patch and trying to hook it up with the right PSI regulators, we were not having success. And I was getting a little stressed out because we had to leave on our trip the next day. So we needed a new plan. We just don't have enough time to set up all the drip hoses, and we just bought a whole bunch of hoses and have just hooked up overhead watering systems just to keep our plants alive over this trip. And then we'll be able to set up some real permanent situations. I'm packing lunches right now tonight to get ready for our drive tomorrow. We will be eating out some, but we really like to have as much home fresh food as possible. These are our lunch boxes. I pack them all up so that I can just give the kids a little box of lunch to just have in the car. I just got the kids in bed while Nate finished up setting up the sprinklers, and he wants to show me what all works out. We do have our neighbor helping us water some things that we weren't able to get water to. Tool belt, but also sprinkling system belt. Yeah. 4 raspberry plants on the far corner that aren't gonna get water. So I'm just gonna soak them really good in the morning before we leave and hope for the best. The other problem we have too, you guys, is that it's been such mild weather this whole summer. But the week that we're gonna be gone, the weekend we're gonna be gone, it's gonna get into the 90s for the first time. And I'm just like, dang it. So that's already gonna stress out the plants. And then there's like less than perfect watering that's gonna be happening. So I'm really hoping that they can make it out alive. We do have these on timers.
This one at what time? 6?
Yeah.
It's set for 6.
Okay. This one's doing the orchard and the squash plants. Gardens back here.
Open. That's open. Down 7, down 6. So these are 5 a.m.
5 a.m.
After we got the watering situation set up and asked our neighbor for help, I felt a lot better about leaving on this trip. I tend to get pretty overwhelmed before trips, and oftentimes I don't want to go for a few days leading up, but I'm glad that we pushed forward and made it happen. And now we're ready for the trip.
So this homesteading conference we're going to is in Coeur D Alene, Idaho, and it's actually the first homesteading conference that is happening out here in the West. All of the other ones have been on the East Coast and have been more directed towards East Coast growers, and having lived on the East Coast and living out West, I grew up out here. It's a very different type of gardening. It's a very different type of a lot of different things. So some classes that I'm thinking of taking, just a variety. There's some how to make your homestead efficient, how to, more permaculture type things. There's some stuff on milking goats, how to butcher. So I still haven't created the lineup I want, but we have a long drive to get there. So I'll be probably highlighting the classes we want to do on the drive. Family's back at the Airbnb tonight. I had a really great day the first day. It was so good. There weren't, I would say, a ton of speakers, but there were some really good quality speakers. And I can really see this conference growing every year. I got a lot of valuable information from all the different speakers, but my probably favorite thing to be surrounded with people who feel called to be homesteaders like I do and feel passionate about like I do.
I walked around the vendors, shopped, and picked up a few heirloom seeds. Some of the big names that were at this conference were Melissa K. Norris, Carolyn and Josh Thomas from the homesteading family, Joel Salatin and his son, and Anne of all trades. This was a 2-day conference, and I had my son with me for the first day while Nate and the kids went hiking and swimming, but on the second day I did not have him with me, and it was a little bit easier to take notes and observe. I had a blast at this conference. We decided to be a little spontaneous and continue our road trip a little bit north up to Glacier National Park. And we did a few hikes. We stayed in the park, and it was so refreshing and rejuvenating. We did some water jumping into some beautiful blue water, and it was amazing. I feel like our family really bonded over this trip, and it really rejuvenated us. On their way back home, we got another flat tire. This is the same side of the vehicle that popped on our other van and totaled our van, and we were stranded in the middle of Montana. It was beautiful and it was fine. We got the spare tire on, and we were able to drive our car back to about 20 minutes to an American Indian reservation, where they literally fixed the tire in about 10 minutes, and we were on our way. And as we were leaving, it started to hail, and I think the temperature dropped down to about 37 degrees. You guys, this was like an hour after we got our flat tire, and I just felt like the Lord had blessed us. Now I feel refreshed and inspired to tackle more projects on our little homestead.